Alright, hello everyone. We are getting into another Zendikar Rising traditional draft. Let's see what we open today. Alright, let's make the picks big. So we actually have a few interesting choices here. The rare of the pack is a Cragplate Baloth. Also have Journey to Oblivion. There's Lull Mage's Domination, Umara Wizard, and there's a Rabid Bite as well. It's also worth noting. Now, I think the pick here is probably Umara Wizard, just because it's a double-faced land. It is in one of the best archetypes. Lull Mage's Domination is great, but triple blue is pretty scary, and we're not sure if we're even going to be necessarily in that color, whereas Umara Wizard's far more splashable. Journey to Oblivion's good too, but it does kind of tie you to being in a party archetype, whereas Umara Wizard can kind of stand on its own. You know, it's a good creature. So we will take Umara Wizard and note that we're passing this, and we're passing some good party things, and hope we get past wizard things, but we'll be open to anything here. Okay, so we did get past two of the uncommon signpost cards in Soaring Thought Thief and the Root Grazer. There's also a Tangled Florahedron here. So Florahedron's interesting as well. It is a land double-faced card and could be good in some of the ramp synergies, or the kicker decks rather. But there's also a Royal Eruption in here, and there aren't many other red cards or blue cards. So we could try to take that in the hopes of cutting people from being in wizards and, you know, helping some of those wizard cards wheel. Also of note, there is a Marauding Blight Priest here that we're passing. And yeah, I mean, we'll see if any other things like this or any other rogues wheel. But I think the pick here is probably Royal Eruption. It's just a pretty great 2-drop here. So we'll try to snag that up. All right, so here we have some more interesting picks. There's a Colony Ambush, also a Lull Mage's Familiar, Territorial Scythe Cat, Expedition Diviner. So I think the pick is probably between one of these two. There's the Colony Ambush and also the Lull Mage's Familiar. That's kind of a tough choice. If we take this, we're more likely to cut off kicker. We did pass a Tangled Florahedron, so sending this would be another signal that maybe green's open. Ooh, tough choice. I think we go with the Colony Ambush. Okay, so here we don't see many things in kicker or wizards. There is a Spikefield Hazard. Sign of the Swarm as well indicates that people might not be in clerics yet. We don't have any clerics, but we did pass a Blight Priest. So I think the pick is probably between Spikefield Hazard and the Scion of the Swarm. I guess we'll take Spikefield Hazard. Okay, what do we get past here? So we do get past the Vanquish the Weak. There's Reclaim the Wastes, so that would be more kicker. Prowling Felidar. So I haven't seen all that many kicker cards. I did just pass a solid black card though, so could be a little scary to try to take Vanquish the Weak and see if black is open. But I think it's probably the best card in the pack, so we'll try to take it. Okay, so here we have Seafloor Stalker. There's a Synchronized Spellcraft, Subtle Strike. So Seafloor Stalker would be good in a party type deck. Whereas synchronized spellcraft does kind of go more for the wizard's archetype. We could just take the spellcraft again, try to cut red off, and maybe be Rakdos, maybe be Gruul. So we'll go with the synchronized spellcraft. Okay, so still a lot of Gruul cards being wheeled around. Sizzling Barrage is okay. Adventure awaits. I don't have many creatures at the moment. Looks like the aesthetic, just something to maybe hedge against being in Wizards. Not sure we're gonna get there. And here, yeah, we see a lot of kind of junk getting passed around. There is a McKindy Stampede. I'm not sure I'd want to play anything else in this pack, so I guess we'll just take that. Put it in the sideboard. So here we have a Skycliff Sentinel, Cleric of Chill Depths, Dauntless Unity, Scorch Rider. Yeah, again, not much, not many wizards, and also not that many other things I'd really be interested in playing. But I suppose I'll take a Scorch Rider. Use a red card, after all. Here I guess we can take Ambusher. It does seem like I'm going to be in red, so the question is red and what else? Mind Drain, I guess. Okay. Okay. So now we do actually have some wizard payoffs, which is actually really great. We have two, and even argue that Kazul's Fury being a spell land and also having cards like this that pump themselves into play spells could also be considered a payoff. But I think the pick here is definitely between Rockslide Sorcerer or Umara Mystic. I think probably Rockslide Sorcerer is better here. We aren't sure we're actually going to be in Is It yet. I'd love to be, since I do have this Umar Wizard, but not sure if I want to commit there. Plus there are a couple of other cards. We can see what's wheels here, but I think Rockslide Sorcerer is going to be the better pick for now. And what do we get past? Another Royal Eruption, a Skyclave Plunder, a Blood Priest. I am still real light on creatures, but Royal Eruption does seem maybe too good to pass up. Though Blood Priest could be good. Tough choices. I think we go with the Royal Eruption. Alright, so here we do have a Bug Catcher. Also have a Ghastly Gloom Hunter or an Akum Warrior. I think I probably don't want the Akum Warrior. I'm happy taking a Bug Catcher here. And now we start caring more about party cards. So there's a Cat Ninja Boa, Expedition Healer, and here he's Binding. Nothing all that great. Guess we can take a Mucklord. Get more creatures. Okay, so here we do have a choice. Could take the Kazul's Fury, or we could take the Geopede. So I don't have that many creatures at the moment. But the Fury I think could be good. I'm not sure how often I'm going to actually be hitting land drops or caring about landfall. I mean it's a 3-drop that's on attacking a 5/3 sometimes. I think we'll try the Kazul's Fury. Okay, so Ardent Electromancer could be promising. There's also a Skyclave Squid, and a Brushfire Elemental, but I think we're going to go for the Ultramancer here. Yeah, because even if you just have one other type, you can make this return 2 mana. You can play this and then do something like a Royal Eruption to just clear their board and continue being aggressive. Here we have Fisher Wizard, Expedition Skulker. I think the Plunder. Oh, we need more creatures though. You still have 9 creatures. Okay. Molten Blast could be solid. Probably a sideboard card. Try to pick off a removal or either an artifact or something. Yeah, I mean, the more I think about it too, the more I think that Amara Mystic isn't gonna come back. But we'll see. I mean, if it does, I'll happily play it. Okay, so here we have a Pyroclastic Hellion, a Scavenged Blade. So I actually do have a few spell lands. So I think we'll try the Hellion here. Okay, and I'm pretty sure this was the pack with the Amara Mystic, so it doesn't look like a wield. Nothing too appealing here. I guess I'll take a Cascade Seer in case I do end up going blue. I guess I'll take a Mucklord. Probably not going to play it. So Scorch Rider, Dauntless Unity, Practice Tactics. Alright, what have we got here? Okay, so we do have a Ravager Mace, which kind of is looking like more where I want this deck to be going, because it doesn't seem like Wizards is all that open. So I suppose we'll take the Ravager Mace. Ooh, okay, interesting. So here we have a Kargan Intimidator. We also have another Rockslide Sorcerer. Kargan Intimidator could be good if I just want to bludgeon my opponent down. Plus, I mean, it is a warrior, so it would help party themes. I'll go with the Intimidator. Alright, so there is an aura here, so Clerics does seem to be pretty open. Everything else here is kind of bad. Although Seagate Colossus could be interesting. I think so. It would be like a 5-drop, 7/5. Something to help close out the game, I suppose. And I think there's almost no chance I would want to play this, so it would just be really a rare draft. So I guess we'll take the Seagate Colossus here. Okay, so here we have Cinderclasm. Also have a Sneaking Guide, so that'll be a Rogue. It will be a 1-drop. And it could help these bug catchers sneak through. So I think maybe the pick here is the Sneaking Guide. I don't know that I'd want a Cinderclasm because it could just wipe my own board. So I suppose I'll go with the Sneaking Guide. Ooh, Zareth. Also have Subtle Strike, Tormenting Voice. Subtle Strike, I suppose, would be solid. Okay. There is a new Mara Wizard. That's a pretty late one, too. I'll grab it for now. Okay, there is a Jawari Disruption. Sure. So now I think the pick is one of these 2-drops. I suppose I'll go with the Skulker for party payoff. Oh, look at that. The Rock Slide Sorcerer wheeled. I will take you for sure. Which is really interesting. Because someone else took the Amara Mystic. So you would have thought that they would have wanted the Rock Slide Sorcerer, but evidently they did not. Very curious indeed. Alright, so we have to cut a few cards probably. Although I do have some lands here. Double-faced lands. Alright, so 14 creatures. And I have one. That's gotta be a better way. Two, so I have 3 of the double-faced cards. Right now I have 17 lands, so I could probably cut a land here, perhaps an island, especially since 2 of these blue cards are in fact lands in and of themselves. But I mean, it would be nice to play them. Yeah, they're not bad by any measure. So I mean, I guess that is a wrap, you could say. 40 cards. Double face lands. All right, let us give it a shot. All right, for real this time, getting into match 1 of this Zendikar Rising draft. Traditional, of course, best of 3. Try to be on the play. I guess we'll keep this. Not too exciting, but I do have a Kargan Intimidator, so that's something. So my opponent didn't have any stops on their turn, so they probably don't have a Lava Spike, so we'll pass the turn to them. Opponent plays a Fisher Wizard, sure. So I guess we'll probably play the Expedition Skulker, make this a coward till end of turn. Swing for 3. Just get some creatures out there. Or I could play my own Fisher Wizard and pitch a land. Although I do have a Pyroclastic Hellion in my hand, I would love to find a island to start using my Mystic. So I think that's probably the better play. So, I'm trying to think, what do I need here? Would I need double sources of anything? Take a quick peek at the deck. I guess I do have a Ambusher in here, so I probably want more red sources. So we'll play the mountain. We'll go to combat. We'll attack. We'll play with the black. Make this a coward, so it can't block. Hit for 3. Play my own Fisher Wizard. Bin a swamp, and we get a swamp. That's lovely, huh? Expedition Champion. Sure. So here we have some choices. I have a Subtle Strike. I also have Kargan Intimidator, so I can make it so that their Expedition Champion doesn't block. I could then pump the Fisher Wizard minus on their Fisher Wizard and do some hit for 5. In worst case, I can just Subtle Strike afterward and just play like Expedition Skulker or something. Swing both. Make you a coward. So I guess I messed that up. Yeah, I forgot that was it can block other things, just can't block warriors. All right, is it worth saving? Probably not. I guess I should have pumped past the turn. So missed a point of damage. Kind of a blunder, but can feint holding up a Malachir Rebirth or something. Opponent plays a Scorch Rider. They get a second warrior. Swing for 4, sure. So we could just race them at this point, huh? They're going to swing for 8. If we play this, we'll be swinging for 8 as well. Although I do have a Subtle Strike. Sure, this seems doable. Put it on the Skulker. Go to combat. Now that 1 point of damage might really matter, but we'll see. See what they hold back, if anything. Yep, they swing out, hit me for 8. Play a Sneaking Guide and a Fisher Wizard. So theoretically I should be able to win here unless they play another 2-drop or something, or they have a removal spell. They don't discard anything, which is interesting as well. Okay, looks like they don't have any effects. So we will swing for 8. Make this a coward. Okay, whew. Despite some egregious misplays, we're able to take it. And now we know what my opponent is on. They are on some kind of a Boros aggro deck, it looks like. So we'll have to keep that in mind. They are kind of warrior heavy. And we'll have to adjust accordingly. So I have a few things I could bring in. I could bring in a Molten Blast. I'm not sure how effective that would be, though. They did have a lot of those 2-1 wizards, or the 2-3 warriors, or the 4-3 warriors, the Scorch Rider. Spitfire Legak could be okay, or Bolivian's Hunger. I don't have all that many +1/+1 effects going on, though, I don't think. Mind Drain could be backbreaking, and it would give me 1 life. So, you know, they're probably not going to have any card draw, but at the same time I do risk being run over if I take turn 3 off to just, you know, kind of diddle around, play that down. I could swap the Scorch Rider for Legak, some extra toughness, help dissuade some attacks perhaps. And doesn't look terrible. Yeah, I don't think I want to play the Mucklord. 2/3s are just gonna trade probably down, if anything, or just not even trade at all against their, you know, their Expedition Warrior, the one that cares about having another warrior in place. So we'll give this a whirl, see how we do. And they're going to be on the play this time, but all right, getting into round 2 here of the Zendikar Rising draft with this kind of Grixis party deck / Grixis spells. So we'll play first. Okay, so we actually have a pretty good opening hand here. Sneaking Guide on 1, we hold up Terraria Disruption on 2. Then we have Ardent Electromancer for 2 at this point. Maybe place another 2-drop or something, or a removal spell. See what my opponent does though. Play a Fireblade Charger, sure. We will play an island, go to combat, swing for 1. I imagine they don't want to trade. Though they might, if they think I'm in party, but they don't. So if they play an equipment or something, we'll counter it with a Dry Disruption. They swing for 1, so no equipment. They don't even play anything. Interesting. Okay, so here we can't double spell. We can't go Ardent Electromancer into Subtle Strike. So we'll just swing for now. Try to value them or something. Next turn we could. Okay, so they play a forest. They're probably in some sort of Gruul landfall deck or something, or Gruul pump. It's kind of strange seeing this in here, but I imagine there must be some sort of aggro deck if they're playing a Fireblade Charger. And they proceed to do nothing. Sure. So I guess we'll play a swamp. Go to combat. So they have something they can do. That's why I'm just wary, trying to play it safe here. If they don't do anything, I'll just play Kargan Intimidator. Keep up blue-black to either Disruption or Subtle Strike. Pass the turn. They don't do anything still. Is it like a pump spell? Is it a fight effect? I don't want to trade right now. Or they want to trade and try to 2-for-1 or something. It's baffling. Okay, they play a Lagak, so here I think we just counter that. Next turn we can just Subtle Strike. Can actually Ardent Electromancer, then Subtle Strike. Oh, Kazul's Fury, that could be interesting. Okay, they nice me. Well, they're gonna like this even less than, I suppose. Play Ardent Electromancer. Ooh, that's actually interesting as well. So I could play Scorch Rider. But I think I'm not going to be greedy. We're going to put a +1/+1 counter. -1/-1 we'll put on the Fireblade Charger. We will... Probably should spread the power around, huh? So I guess we'll put the counter on... I also don't have any things with only 2 power at the moment, so put it over there. Yep, doesn't do anything. It was drained. And we'll go to combat, swing for 6. Pass the turn. So if I draw a land next turn, I can Kargan Intimidator attack and play Scorch Rider, which then kind of sets up the following: Kazul's Fury. Swing out, Kazul's Fury, when they block, kind of swing in for the kill. But they do have a blocker now. They have a land, a mountain. So if they do have a Spike Pit, they could kind of do something mean. Okay, this is interesting too, because now we've drawn 2 spell lands. So do I play the Kazul's Fury as a land so I can do Amara Wizard next turn? Tough choices. I also do want to swing in for 4 here, so that's going to take 2 mana. Or I could send both and get 2 more damage in. So my opponent would be at 5. That's still outside of Kazul Fury range though, so I probably don't want to be that aggressive. So we do want to swing here. The other thing too to keep in mind is that their mountain has reach, so my flyer can't get over. So I think the play is to try to get Kargan Intimidator in again, just get them down to 4, and then Kazul Fury. But they're gonna, okay, so they have other creatures at least. Okay. So they're gonna attach it to their mountain. Doesn't have vigilance though, so they probably shouldn't attack with it. Oh. Okay, bold move, opponent. They have a kill spell or something, or a fight effect. All right, opponent. Let's see what you got. Sure. Okay, you go to 2. And we'll Kazul Fury you. Sacking the Electromancer. There we go. That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Taking down Gruul, the Grixis party wizards. Okay, so we saw that they had Nissa's Zendikar. They had some other warriors. I think that's a thing too, because the 4/3, the Scorch Rider would trade for the Zendikar, which could be okay. They did have that flying enchantment, that the wings, Kite Sail wings. So though, Molten Blast could be a potent addition here. Yeah, let's try that. They also had a couple of 1/2s or 1/1s, so sniping off one of those with a Molten Blast isn't terrible, especially where it seems like we have the long-term plays here. We are going to be trying to control that, trying to just grind them down. So that's okay. Do I want to bring in any Muck Lords? I think probably not. Okay, let's try this. See where we go this time. If we're going to be hitting all 3 of our lands in the beginning, or if we are forced to only play Rakdos for a while, we'll see. It would be nice to actually play one of those Amara Mystics one of these games, but looks like maybe not this game, at least not yet. But it seems okay. 1, 2, 3. Sure. See what they play here. They have 2 mana. Could play a wizard. Okay, they play a bug catcher. So we'll play a swamp, swing in, see if they want to trade for a subtle strike. Sure, they do. Next turn we can fish a wizard, pitching a swamp. Opponent plays a charger. That's interesting. So you can play a land. Could just play the Fisher Wizard, try to get something more interesting here. But that's okay. Pass the turn. And here I'm holding up for the party, because now this is going to get +2, +0, and Menace, so it's going to be pretty great. So they're checking my mana. They destroy basic land. Sure. Thanks, opponent. It's a bizarre move. And they concede. Okay. Not sure what my opponent was doing there. They must have been digging for something. Or maybe they just had all lands. They must have been desperate for cards, I guess. Alright, we're going to be on the draw this time. Round round 3 of this traditional Zendikar Rising draft. So here we kind of get our first bad hand. No red, 2 islands. Oh, well, I take that back. The shuffler is favoring me today, I must admit. Got some great draws so far, so hopefully we can keep them coming. See, my opponent plays on 2, they don't play anything. So we'll play an island, pass the turn. If they're a cleric deck, they probably have some good 3-drops coming. They don't. They had something they could have done, but they don't want to take out a sneaking guide, I guess. I think it's worth countering that. Seems like a core part of the cleric deck, so I'm happy to take it down a peg. Okay, opponent on 4 mana now. Definitely in clerics, it looks like. They play a Palaka Predation, sure, so they'll get my Pyroclastic Hellion. They'll see my handful of lands, sure. So they still have something they can do. They have a 1-mana black spell, so it's probably the Rebirth effect. And the question then becomes, do I want to play out the Rockslide Sorcerer now, or do I want to wait a couple turns, play it plus the Subtle Strike? I think we wait. Again, they're not putting any pressure on, and better to get value, because I think they probably have a kill spell in their hand. They had something they could have done that they seemed like we're thinking about. Plus, just holding up the Subtle Strike kind of messes with their plans. They play another Palaka Predation, so they kind of punish me for holding that up. Unlucky, I guess. Sure, so we'll play a Swamp, go to combat. Play a Kargan Intimidator, and this has really been an MVP so far. I mean, yeah, even in this deck, that's, I don't know if it's that aggressive, but it's just been helping me seal a deal, helping me consistently hit 4 damage a turn. Okay, there we go. Yeah, good read, Malakir Meyer. So if they're playing in this, they must either have a 5-drop they really want to play, maybe a Scion of the Swarm, something to that effect. Or maybe they, I don't know, it's a strange move, I have to say. Okay, we'll play an island. We'll go to combat. Swing 1. Pump. Sure, we'll pump using this as well. They go to 12. Play a Skulker. And it's as Death Touch as well, which is interesting, because now I can Subtle Strike to get more damage if need be. Okay, opponent plays Shepherd of Heroes, sure. So they're getting some life back. Okay, so tough choice to attack here. So if we swing, we can make one of them a coward. So we could make the Shepherd of Heroes a coward, so they'd have to block with their Blight Priest. We could also pump, and then we could try to get them to trade with the Shepherd of Heroes on the Expedition Skulker. So we pump, we make the Shepherd a coward, we then have a Subtle Strike up, so if they do block with the Blight Priest, we give -1, +1. Okay. We will make you a coward. And I guess see what they do. Do we need to pump now? Sure. So we can pump. We can subtle strike. May as well give you trample. Then go to 8. Sure. And we'll hold up this swamp here in case we draw one of those discard wizards. The Fisher Wizard. Oh, my opponent is in a tough spot here. Okay, so they play another Blight Priest. And a Relic Vial. Sure. This is interesting too, the Bug Catcher. So if I swing with the Skulker, that's not going to matter for party because I already have the Seeking Guide as a additional, as an additional cleric, or rather as an additional rogue. So I get to do what to do. I guess Kargan Intimidator making the Blight Priest a coward. Also swinging with the Skulker. So at least nullify the life gain. And we'll play Bug Catcher. So the Relic Vial is scary, but we are starting to value, or I guess grind them down. They're getting pretty low, 2 cards in hand. Single Blood Beckoning, interesting. Okay, so they gained 4 life back. Okay. So swinging for 5. And play Teeter Peak Ambusher. Okay, they trade their flyer for it. Sure. So we can't double pump the Teeter Peak. Oh, they get a second relic. Okay, so can now kick the Royal Eruption. If we sing with everything, I think the best play is to swing out, huh? They have 1 card in their hand. They can sacrifice their Blight Priest to gain 2 life, but if they do that, they're going to be dead before They're going to be dead before the triggers go on the stack, the life gain triggers. So we just swing out here. Threaten to double pump. And that as long as they let that happen, they're going to gain 2, but they're going to lose 4. So they're going to be at 6. Okay, so they kill one of my creatures. Sure. Let's see if they sacrifice. So right now they're going to go to 4. So we pump, I guess. See if they sack. They don't. So next turn we swing and kick Royal Eruption. So it all comes down to this top deck. But they don't play anything. Okay, they go to 4, and we'll kick the Royal Eruption for 5 damage. Alright, we do it. Managed to beat the double relic cleric deck. So we'll definitely want this Molten Blast in. That is a no-brainer. Do we want anything else? They had a practice tactics, we saw that. I don't think I really saw much other removal. Huh? So Inordinate Rage could be okay. Kind of mess with their combat math. That sort of thing. But I guess first let's try to pick something to take out. Yeah, I've yet to see Mind Drain. I mean, yeah, they do have more card draw as well, so maybe I'll take out the Mind Drain, put in the Molten Blast, just try to take down one of those relics. I think that's okay. And I could have played Nomara Wizard there at the end, but no need. And down to the last game here of the series, still haven't cast a single one. I guess I think I only have one, right? So I still haven't cast one. But let's see. I guess we'll try to keep this. Hope to draw a swamp or something. Draw an island. Not terrible. I have a 2-drop this time though. Expedition Healer. Pass the turn. So maybe I should have mulliganed this hand. Probably should have. Okay, and I play a land, a swamp, see what they do. Didn't do anything, so we'll just continue not doing anything either. 2 damage a turn, isn't that scary? Okay, they play a Plains. Sure. They'll swing for 2. We will Molten Blast on their Blight Priest. Turning off lifelink, saving me 3 life because I would have been pinged additionally from their other cleric. We have that. We'll just hold Vanquish up. So at this point, we're kind of just removal / control grixis. I would love to see one of those 3/3 wizards, the rock sliders, or what have you. Okay, they play an additional land. Play a Black Bloom Rogue, sure. So it does buff their party by 1. I'm not too concerned about it though. I think I should be more wary of clerics because it'll turn on their relics, the relic vials. pass the turn here. Probably like, what is this guy doing? What is this deck? Where are all the creatures that I saw game 1? Those intimidators, those rogues. So they're probably wondering if I have a the 3/3 Living Tempest Flash Flyer, but they still attacked into it, so they might have some kind of a combat trick in their hand, or maybe they're trying to do some stuff with yeah, Blood Beckoning, sure. So they get back both of those. Sure. Do they play out the Cleric, Expedition Healer? It's like a Jawara Disruption. They did play around it with their 3/2, their Blight Priest, and they're not going to do that, so that's fine. Play an Expedition, Skulker, pass the turn. They swing for 2, no blocks. Play a Blight Priest, sure. Play an Expedition Healer, sure. We can play a Teeter Peak Ambusher here, pass the turn. They play a Plains. They have 7 mana now. Gonna swing out. Yep. Deals 4 damage to it. Sure. Because I can't remove any. Minimize damage to myself. Kill their Expedition Healer. Sure. Go to 8. So they're probably noticing I still have Disruption mana up. So they're probably not going to play a 6-drop, but okay, they play Skycliff Cleric. Sure, ping me, lose life. 4 cards in my bin, so Black Bloom isn't going to be there yet. I think we just still get Colossus here. Okay, opponent down to the last card in hand. It's a Ghastly Gloom Hunter. Glad I saved this spellcraft for such a purpose. Let's get rid of that now. I suppose we'll pass the turn. Next turn we can Amara Wizard. If I draw a land, I could have Mar Wizard and Ravager Mace. No, I couldn't. I need another land. Lies. Heresy. So they have something in their hand. Null Priest of Oblivion. That's a good one. Get back a Gloom Hunter. It's a 1/1. Alright, what have we got here? So we can play Ardent Electromancer. Party would be 2. So then we could play Amara Wizard. So I'm going to be down 2 from this, so I'm going to be at 5. if I only have 3 blocks, they're going to hit me for 2. And they also have the Null Priest. I think it's probably too risky to attack. We need to get one of those wizards now. One of the Rockslide wizards. Rockslide sorcerer, excuse me. Okay, opponent hits my Ravager Mace. Swing for 1 in the air, sure. Gotta put me on a clock, right? But we're trying to imagine what I could possibly crack back with if they're going to be dead, but they're 23 life, so they're more or less sitting pretty. And now again, so I'm going to be down to 3 no matter what, because I don't have a flyer. So they have 2 creatures with menace as well. One of them has life link, so it's like it's a 3/1. So I go Teeter Peak on the Blight Priest, Colossus on the Cleric, Umara and Electro on the Null Priest. I'd be at 1. Yeah, I think we just hold. Need to either kill the Blight Priest or the Gloom Hunter, preferably the Gloom Hunter. Hope they don't get anything. They block a predation, sure, they see nothing. So they get me to 3 probably. Okay, well, we'll concede that game. Hope for a more reactive build next time, or start next time. And not just hope, but actually mulligan for one. All right, we will be on the play this time. Get all 3 colors. Removal, not much else. So maybe I should have heeded my advice some last time. But we are not punished. This is not a coward stream. We draw the Intimidator, we play at turn 2. We can also Ravager Mace it or Vanquish if they play something scary on their end. But we shall see. We shall see what they do. Play an Expedition Skulker. Sure, so we'll... Could just get this down. I think that's terrible. Really is kind of gross because you can make, one of them a coward so it can't block, so you're gonna need like 3 creatures effectively to block the Intimidator. And I still haven't seen all that much removal from my opponent. They do have practice tactics, but it's only gonna work right if it's an attacking or blocking creature. So if I only have 1 creature and they try to do that, I can Vanquish their Skulker to turn that off. Worst case, I also could Kazul Fury, launching my Intimidator somewhere else. Are they gonna Subtle Strike? That'd be bad. That would be bad indeed. Okay, doesn't look like it. Otherwise, it would have done it pre-combat, I have to imagine. Okay, so they see my pretty hand here. They did play the Malachim Iron. Okay, so we'll play the land that they know about. Swing, pump with the Intimidator. So my opponent's at 11. Right, play their 4th land. Swing for 2. Blight Priest. Guess we'll destroy it. So they have 1 white mana up. If they have a practice tactics, it's going to kind of blow me out. I'm still a ways away from kicking Royal Eruption, 2 lands to be specific. I think we Royal Eruption their Skulker just to turn off the tactics. Swing for 1. I think they had it. Yeah. Okay, read like a book, opponent. Read like a book. Okay, so they go to 6. I guess we'll play a Swamp just so we're closer to playing the second version of this. So they're dead next turn if they don't play a creature and leave up white mana. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure they have practice tactics. So they need something else. So if they play a land and play that angel, that's not going to do it. They could play a Core Cleric and do that. And I'd be careful about attacking it. I probably just shouldn't attack. Although I kind of do need to get that card out of their hand, right? But maybe they only have 4 drops and they don't have any 4th land. Or maybe they have Relic Vials or something, or they're trying to weigh their options. I mean, they have 5 cards in hand. Okay, we'll pump it. Sure. Maybe they forgot I could do that on their turn too. Are they going to double spell? Okay, they play Gloom Hunter, so that's going to be it. Whew. Play a Mountain, go to combat, they know what I have, they know they're dead. Okay, whew. And they concede, and we get there in a kind of a wacky draft, huh? One opponent scooped, one person I just couldn't handle their draws in game 2 and just conceded after blowing up one of my lands. But then game 3 was tight. You know, they had a really good Clerics deck, it looked like, no Priest of Oblivion, all that fun stuff. But we are able to get there despite some unconventional opponents, some raging perhaps. And we even get an Omnath here. Look at this, right before it is hopefully banned. But with that, I hope you enjoyed the draft. I hope you enjoyed watching it through to completion. And I will see you next time. Big Mitts MTG out.